Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for your patience and congratulations on staying to the very end of the conference. I know a lot of people have had to leave for flights and make their travel arrangements, but we're delighted that you're still here with us. And we believe it's important to mark the end of these 3 days by having this closing ceremony. So please welcome to the stage our guest of honour, the Minister of State for Higher Education, Mary Mitchell-O'Connor, and Lisen Bergquist, who, as you know, is the Managing Director of World Anti-Bullying Forum. So in coming to this closing ceremony, I've been thinking over the last few hours about what would I like to say as we close World Anti-Bullying Forum 2019. And there's just so much I would like to say about the wonderful presentations that we have had over the last 3 days, the fantastic posters upstairs, the symposia, the workshops, and I'm sure you'll agree with me that we have been exposed to the absolute best research and advocacy and resources in the world in terms of tackling bullying, cyberbullying and online safety. So please give a round of applause for everyone who has presented at this conference. I feel I'm conscious today that in other parts of Europe, not too far from here, they're commemorating the 75th anniversary of the D-Day landings. And you know, when you think about bullying, what is bullying about? It's about people trying to exercise power over other people that they perceive to be weaker in some way. And you know, if that is carried out of the classroom into the community and from the community into society and into the country and across Europe, then we end up with wars. Wars are all about power and who can have power over other people. And we remember that after World War II, a huge amount of work went into building institutions in Europe and around the world to make sure that wouldn't happen again. We wanted to build societies and a globe that was based on equality and parity of esteem and consensus and collaboration. And it's really important, I think, the work we do at this conference and we do throughout the year around the globe in terms of anti-bullying, that there is a thread from that in terms of bullying prevention to making the globe a safer and a more equal and a better place. And long may those institutions continue. You know, the last few days, a lot of things stood out for me, but more than anything, the logistics of this conference have been really impressive. You might like to know we had 900 plus delegates and participants over the last 3 days, Minister. We've had 400 presentations, symposia, workshops, flash presentations, they were interesting, and poster presentations. 17 exhibitors, 4,500 cups of coffee, 600 glasses of Guinness, and I personally, thanks to my counter here, walked 49,485 steps over 3 days. So something somewhat athletic, but it gets more impressive. I know you're all scientists, so you like numbers. So we had an average of 104 tweets per hour over the last 3 days in relation to the conference, and we reached 71,000 accounts. On Tuesday, we were the #1 trending tweet online, and yesterday, for 10 minutes, we moved Mr. Trump to the second place, and we went to #1. So I will say no more about that. So at this stage, I would like to call on my friend and colleague, Lisen Bergquist from World Anti-Bullying Forum, to say a few closing remarks on behalf of the organisation.
Okay. I would just like to start with saying thank you to all of you. Thank you for sharing your knowledge. Thank you for your insights that I requested in the beginning. Thank you for sharing and expanding your networks. Thank you for being so kind to each other. You have together created a warm and safe learning environment here. And on behalf of both Jacob and me, thank you for sharing your love. We've had so many kind words from you. And speaking about Jacob, I would just like to acknowledge what he has done for the forum. as he steps down as the chair after the summit. Jacob, you saw what was needed and you found a way to make it happen, as you so often do. We're very happy that you've been friends for such a long time, and you've been the chair of the scientific committee for 2017 and 2019. I wish you all the best of luck in your new engagements. Now, I would like to read a few words from Astrid Lindgren. She made a speech called Never Violence, and it's from 1978. Swedish Astrid Lindgren is one of our most popular children's books authors in the world. And I'll just say Pippi Longstocking and leave it at that. Astrid was an unafraid and persuasive person who fought for children's rights and equality for all. The speech was republished, and Stina Wirsén made beautiful illustrations to it in 2018. Just look at that. So here are Astrid's words. For as long as we humans have lived on this planet, we've been indulging in violence and war, and the fragile peace that sometimes exists is constantly under threat. So is there any possibility at all of changing fundamentally before it's too late? Of our learning to distance ourselves from violence? Or are trying quite simply to become a new kind of human beings? But how could we go about that, and where should we start? I believe that we should start from the bottom with the children. And with that said, I would like to invite Professor James O'Higgins Norman to the stage for a huge thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, James, for bringing the forum to Dublin. This is weird because, for the improvements and the development that you have done, for being such a brilliant and kind person. We couldn't have asked for a better companion in this, and we will not let you go. But I know also that there's a full-time crew behind you as well, and I'll show you guys. I brought them Swedish chocolates, so. Where do I go from here? Yeah, right. So, but you represent the scientific committee, the fundraising committee, and the local organizing committee. You together have created the largest anti-bullying meeting place in the world. I'm so thankful and honored to be working with all of you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
No, don't leave. I also want to give you this mug on a more personal note with one of my favorite Astrid quotes. So it's the quote up there, and it's actually on the mug. Give the children love, and still more love, and the common sense will come by itself. Because in the end, that's why we're all here, and that's why I will see all of you in Stockholm in 2021.
Thank you, Lisen. You're very kind, and thanks for your kind comments. The work that we've done here over the last 3 days, as you know, is linked to the work that's ongoing here in the university, in DCU, and to our National Anti-Bullying Centre. And from the very start, for many, many years, we have been very privileged to have support from a lot of people here in the university and outside. One of our biggest supporters for many years has been the Minister of State for Higher Education, Mary Mitchell O'Connor, TD, who has been, at every possible chance she has had over the last few years, been a very public and a very vocal supporter of the centre. So I'm delighted to welcome the Minister to the ceremony and to the podium now.
James, thanks very much, and I really am delighted to be here, and I know I don't want to delay you too much because this is the wrap-up for you. But distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, and I still see the president of this great college from DCU, Breen McCrath, president, is still here, and that will show you how important he takes this conference. I just want to congratulate you so much on putting together such a worthwhile conference, and I know that you've had the most interesting speakers. You've had over 1,000 people here over the week. I have to say I'm a little bit disappointed that you only drank 1,000 people only drank 600 pints of Guinness. And maybe you should have been in Doonbeg last night, because they certainly drank way more down there from what we've seen. But just to say, and I know it's a Céad Míle Fáilte coming at the end of a conference, but maybe for any of our international guests, and indeed our national guests that are here today, maybe you'll get to enjoy our 100,000 welcomes, and that you might even get to some of our pubs and taverns later on this evening. I think you've hosted a wonderful conference, and it's really about very serious work. And I suppose if I can just go back to why I've taken a special interest. I'm a former school principal. For 31 years, I worked in primary school, which would be the age of 4 up to approximately 12, 13 years of age. And there is one moment that's, that really, I think, encapsulates why I am so interested in this work. And it's actually to do with someone that won a Lifetime Award last night here, and that was Mona Moore. I think she's still here in the audience. She certainly was on my way in. But Mona has been doing lots of work over the years on bullying, and probably pre-cyberbullying. But I remember, Mona, you inviting me along, and this must be 15 to 20 years ago, to a drama that students gave, and it was called Sticks and Stones. I don't know if any of you remember it in the audience. And I remember I was so taken by that drama, and how it was how it was so strong, and that it was able to portray the hurt that there were children actually felt during that drama because they were experiencing bullying. And I know that we brought it to our school afterwards, and again, the students really reacted well. So I'm delighted to hear that actually you have a student dramatic group coming in straight after me. I think they're from Blanchardstown. Great. And I really look forward to seeing that, because I do think that when they see it in reality, in a school, that children can take that message. So thank you very much. I know that you've had 400 presentations covering psychology, sociology, anthropology, criminology as well. So well done on that. And we do know that we've a lot to still learn in order to understand. And I think the piece that I'm really interested in, and I asked James here earlier, just there a few minutes ago, is how to prevent bullying in the first place. And then the long term, we must be able to understand the long-term physical and emotional damage that it causes. I remember watching Michelle Obama talking about sending her daughters to a new school in Washington from the White House, and they were age 7 and 10. So she was very aware that being driven to school by the Secret Service agents, that might expose her daughters and her girls to comments and cruel remarks. She described the approach that she and her husband took with them by saying, "We explain when someone is cruel or acts like a bully. You do not stoop to their level. Our motto is that when they go low, you go high." In a nutshell, I believe that this is the approach that we have to take as policymakers as well. At the outset of this forum, testimonials were provided to you by the students from Larkin College in the centre of Dublin. They reminded you that bullying for some children and young people is an everyday occurrence with devastating consequences. They very eloquently reminded all of us that it can happen anywhere, in school, in college, during recreation, or on public transport. In fact, anywhere where young people gather. Research presented by UNESCO on Tuesday reported that almost 1 in 3 students, that's 32%, has been bullied by their peers at school at least once in the last month. And most alarming of all, of course, is the increasing prevalence of online bullying, with your studies showing that 10 to 15% of children are experiencing this. That can take place, as you know, any time, even within the homes where children and young people should be safest. Research presented here also found that children who are perceived to be different in any way are more likely to be bullied. International surveys reveal that physical appearance is the most common reason for being bullied, with race, nationality, or skin colour the second most common reason. Children from poorer backgrounds and families, as well as migrant children, also appear to be more vulnerable to bullying and cyberbullying. The Larkin students' testimonies highlight the need for the forum's work and the importance of working together as an international community. Together, by sharing expertise and valuable research, we can identify the measures that will reduce the prevalence of bullying behaviour. Yesterday here, the Deputy Executive Director of UNICEF, Charlotte Petri-Garniska, reminded us of the importance of policy and legislation and the need to recommit ourselves to the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child. The Programme for Partnership Government in Ireland sets out priorities and policy initiatives to protect and to enrich the lives of children and young people. These include better outcomes, brighter futures, a 7-year strategy to promote the best outcomes for every child and young person, and to keep our children and our young people safe and protected from harm. The LGBTI National Youth Strategy, published last year, focuses on ensuring measures are in place to enable young people identifying as LGBTI+ to achieve their full potential and to achieve the same outcomes as all children and young people. One of its 3 strategic goals is to create a safe, supportive and an inclusive environment for LGBTI+ young people. The National Traveller and Roma Inclusion Strategy and the Migrant Integration Strategy also aim to combat discriminatory behaviours, including any form of bullying. I am glad that the National Anti-Bullying Research Centre here in DCU, with support from the EU and my Department in Education, is undertaking a number of studies on the bullying experiences of migrants, travellers and Roma children in our schools. Within education, we are implementing strategies and measures to ensure that we create safe, supportive and inclusive environments in all of our schools and colleges for every child and every young person. In 2013, we published the first National Action Plan on Bullying. It sets out a comprehensive approach to tackle all forms of bullying and to promoting positive, inclusive environments in our schools. Actions focus on support for schools, teacher training, research and awareness raising. Since then, we have designed and published comprehensive anti-bullying procedures for primary and secondary or post-primary schools. These are mandatory and being implemented in every school. They include the use of prevention and education strategies and the consistent investigation, which I think is really important in a school, that it's not brushed under the carpet, then the follow-up and recording of bullying behaviour. Parents and other adults who interact in the lives of children and young people have a critical role. And since 2014, my department has been funding anti-bullying training sessions for parents throughout the country. It enables them, the parents, to understand the many ways in which bullying can take place. It makes them aware of the prevalence and the dangers of cyberbullying, including webcam, blackmail, online grooming, and how to manage the safe use of technology both inside and outside the home. Last year, over 1,000 parents participated, and this year it is hoped that even more will attend the sessions. Research discussed at this forum on Wednesday highlighted that 75% of parents do not interfere in their child's online lives. 75%. I have to say, I find it unbelievable. This has to be of concern. The reasons for parents' hesitation needs to be explored further. And in targeting cyberbullying and fostering online safety, my department co-funds WebWise, an internet safety initiative that promotes the autonomous, effective and the safer use of internet by young people. A sustained awareness strategy is directly aimed at parents, teachers and children with consistent and relevant messages, including guidance on acceptable usage in schools. WebWise has developed a range of resources to help students to develop the skills to be responsible and socially conscious of internet users, including My Selfie and the wider world. A parenting hub, WebWise Parents, was launched 2 years ago. Furthermore, my department funds the provision of the national anti-bullying website www.tacklebullying.ie, which is used by more than 30,000 young people each year. Last year, Be in Control was launched to support teachers to address the topic of online sexual coercion and extortion with their students. In 2018, the government's action plan for online safety was launched, setting out an 18-month plan of actions spanning 6 key actions and 6 key government departments, including education. These include development of a national campaign, and that is called Be Safe Online, with key online safety messages targeted at specific groups, including children and young people, parents, guardians and teachers, as well as the wider public. The action plan has also led to the establishment of the National Advisory Council for Online Safety, which provides advice to government. The work of the Council is ongoing, and we are aware of the need to have a joined-up common approach to online safety that extends beyond national boundaries. Ladies and gentlemen, it is also good to see, and I know they were here this week, the tech and social media companies here, Facebook and Vodafone, and that because we all know that they have a really important role to play in working with parents, and I'm going to stress parents, and young people in promoting online safety. placing a national focus on positive mental health and well-being in education. My department has recently published the Wellbeing Policy Statement and the Framework for Practice last year. It aims to ensure that every child and every young person realises their full potential and is able to build resilience and to deal with the challenges that they face. Overall, it is my ambition that the promotion of well-being will be central to the ethos of every school in this country. I think that the various anti-bullying programmes discussed at this session here on Wednesday showed that sustained, integrated, whole-school community approaches can make a real difference in reducing overall rates of bullying in our schools. At the same time, your work now shows that very challenging cases of bullying, even in schools where levels of bullying are low, need a very specific response from teachers and parents. And I really do look forward to your next World Forum, when some of these responses may be available to us from arising out of your research over the next 2 years. As Minister with responsibility for higher education, I'm very aware that bullying is not confined just to the primary and secondary school environment. Over 60% of the school-going population in Ireland goes to college. Ireland has the youngest proportion of young people with higher education qualifications across the European Union. It would be naive in the extreme to imagine that there is no bullying in our colleges, our universities, or our institutes of technology. We know from academic studies that stress is not only a result of bullying, but that it is also a prime cause of bullying. We also know that our third-level students can be subject to a variety of stresses during their time in college. The student is at the epicentre of my work as a minister, and so I want to hear the student voice at all levels of education. I know from your work, and I know from your discussions here in recent days, that the solutions to bullying in all its form can be found through paying attention to what young people themselves are saying. You have been reflecting here on what they have to say about bullying. We have to recognise that how we define bullying and cyberbullying does not always reflect how young people understand these behaviours. It is their voices that contain the core truths about the impact that these important issues have on their lives. The Anti-Bullying Centre here at DCU conducted a study with the Union of Students in Ireland in 2013. It found that 14%, that's 1 in 7 students, were bullied while at college. 21% witnessed bullying during their time in college. 24% received unwanted sexual attention. And as Minister, I want to highlight the need to build safe and inclusive environments in our higher education institutions. Last month, I launched the Framework for Consent in Higher Education Institutions, which aims to ensure a campus culture that is safe, respectful, and supportive. The framework sets out standards that every institution is required to implement. Agreena Ushla, the work of this forum is now firmly established, and I'm very pleased that the next forum will take place in Stockholm in 2021, and that this important work will continue. I believe that through our combined efforts and shared expertise, I am confident that we will be successful in our efforts to raise international awareness on the problem of childhood bullying. Our goal is to eliminate bullying from the lives of our children and our young people. I mentioned Michelle Obama earlier, so now let me add words from Barack Obama. Each of us deserves the freedom to pursue our own version of happiness. No one deserves to be bullied. I want to thank you and congratulate all the organising partners on this really successful forum. The UNESCO Friends Centre in Sweden, the International Bullying Prevention Association, DCU, and the National Anti-Bullying Research and Resource Centre, and my own department as sponsoring partner of the centre. I want to thank all of you for giving so generously of your time and of your expertise. And finally, again, if I may thank you very much for the wonderful work that you have done. Professor James O'Higgins Norman, UNESCO Chair on the Tackling Bullying in Schools and Cyberspace, whose work I believe has been central to this event. So, Gora Míle Maith, I'm really looking forward to seeing the children perform, and I wish you a very safe journey home. Gora Míle Maith, Galer. Will I go down?
Thank you very much, Minister, for your very kind and thoughtful and reflective comments about the work of the Forum and the work of our centre here in DCU, and your ongoing support is extremely important to us. So now, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to say a few words of thanks, and then while maybe the Minister and Lisen would like to take their seats in the auditorium, I'd like to thank, first of all, my own staff in the Anti-Bullying Centre, who are 100% behind this and everything we do. I'd like to invite them all to stand up where they are, please. I can see you from the stage, and everybody please give them a round of applause. Kate, stand up. Thank you. There, I want you to know that every one of them is a rock star. And we wouldn't be able to do anything we do without them. So thanks, guys, for all your support and your hard work. I want to thank the various committees who have contributed to World Anti-Bullying Forum, Finance, Scientific and Local Organising Committee. I want to thank all of the colleagues in DCU, the President's Office, the President of DCU himself, for their support for this event over the last 3 days. I would like you to show your appreciation, please, for the staff in the Helix here who have been outstanding in their support for our work over the last 3 days, backstage here and around front of house. And then I'd like to give a special thanks also to Conference Partners International, who have been helping us and working with us for the last 2 years in preparing and carrying out the work of this forum. We would not have been able to do it without them guiding us through it step by step. So to Conor and Neil and the rest of the team, thank you very much. And now the young people from Foroige, Blanchardstown, will take us through the next part of this ceremony.
close my eyes and I can see a world that's waiting up for me, that I call my own. Through the dark, through the door, through where no one's been before, but it feels like home. They can say it all sounds crazy. They can say I've lost my mind. I don't care, so call me crazy. We can live in a world that we design. 'Cause every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head. A million dreams are keeping me awake. I think of what the world could be, a vision of the one I see. A million dreams is all it's gonna take. Oh, a million dreams for the world we're gonna make. There's a house we can build. Every room inside is filled with things from far away. Special things I compile, each one there to make you smile on a rainy day. They can say it all sounds crazy. They can say we've lost our minds. I don't care if they call us crazy. Run away to a world that we design.
Every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head. A million dreams keeping me awake. Of what the world could be, a vision of the one I see. A million dreams is all it's gonna take. Oh, a million dreams for the world we're gonna make.
However big, however small, let me be.
Thank you very much to the young people from Blanchardstown, Foroige. They spent several weeks reflecting on bullying and cyberbullying and interpreting it into this wonderful performance for us, so thank you very much. And now we have the formal handing over of World Anti-Bullying Forum from Ireland back to Sweden. Lisen will accept the Swedish flag from the young people from Blanchardstown and take it to Stockholm for 2021. So the young people will now come out carrying the Swedish flag and hand the forum back to Stockholm.